What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another race analysis video at the Turbo Velo men's Cat 3-4 crit. This crit again is in Richardson, Texas. We're back out here the week after our last video and racing for about 30 minutes. It is the day after some significant rain in the Dallas area, and with all these gutters, the puddles were super big. I kind of was worried about issues with handling, people going through corners, sliding out, but surprisingly, luckily, thankfully, there were no issues with that. So we start this first lap. You can actually see my coworker Mustafa right up there in the pink looking back at me. As he came by, he told me he had to get some camera time. So there he is. Shout out to Mustafa on United. This week I actually didn't race quite as well as last week, but that's fine. That's the whole purpose of these analysis videos, is really just to go back, see what I did well, see what I did poorly, so that I can fix it in the future. Once again, because we're in Dallas, there are three big teams represented: United, Pegasus, and Cadence. So there's no reason for me to get out up front, really do any work. I try to rely on them as much as possible to close everything down. I'm not completely successful in that. Sometimes I do have to do a bit of work, but I am able to let them do the lion's share of it. So right now we're a little lined out. It's not going super fast. You can see my heart rate is chilling low 160s, which for me is pretty easy. I mean, that's like sweet spot correlated to power, so we're not going too hard, at least here in fourth wheel. But you can see Mustafa goes off the front for a little attack. It's Ramadan right now, and he hasn't been eating or drinking anything all day. This race is at 6:30 in the evening, so he is completely fasted, hasn't eaten since before sunrise, and is off the front doing an attack like this. You can see I'm on the front, which I really shouldn't be, but I definitely tapered down the effort, and you can see how the speed drops, because I'm just really not going to put any effort to chase anything down, especially at the beginning of the second lap of a 30-minute crit. So those two guys attack off and chase Mustafa down, try to cling on and maybe force a breakaway. And you can see all these people coming around starting to attack. I don't jump on the first one immediately, but I actually slowly ramp my speed up so that fourth or fifth guy that comes by me, I can get on without spiking the power an insane amount. But I knew that this was going to come back together pretty quickly, and I wasn't going to chase it down. So you can see here, everyone's starting to get together. There's quite a few guys right ahead of me, and you can see all the shadows gathering behind. And we're just cruising at 27, rounding the back half of the course, coming back towards the finish line to start a new lap. I don't think there's much of a reason to just commentate the entire race when a lot of it is just like this. I did do a pretty good job of sitting in the pack. I averaged about 10 BPM lower this week than last week, so it was good, pretty conservative. So we're gonna just take this and maybe jump to 4 laps to go, where it starts to ramp up. All right, here we are, 4 laps to go. You can see It's started to get pretty hard. We're right at 29, 30 miles an hour, and my heart rate is high 180s, low 190s. I'm sitting about fifth wheel here. There were about 50 riders, so I am doing pretty well with positioning at this point, but it kind of falls apart later. There's an old adage with crit racing that if you're not moving up, you're moving back, and I definitely let myself fall back a little too much in a couple laps time leading into the finish. A lot of my crit experience has been out at the driveway in Austin, which is an awesome race, but it is super wide and flowy. So this course being a little narrower is something I'm going to have to get used to and learn to position myself a little bit better, because it is a lot easier to get boxed in on a course like this. Alright, we're at the 3 laps to go mark, and you can see I'm starting to drift back just a little bit to try and let a few people take some of this wind for me. And it looks like the guys on the front had the same idea. But still, I'm sitting within the top 10 of the race. Right here with the wind direction, everyone was floating towards that right side, and it was pretty easy to gutter yourself if you weren't careful. And nearing the end of 3 laps to go, I definitely am too far up and spending too much energy just fighting the wind, and not in the pack conserving like I should. Actually get caught up a little bit behind this guy, have to hit the brakes a touch, and everyone starts to come around. That's that washing machine effect. Alright, we are at 2 laps to go, and I've come back a little bit into the field. Not too much at this point, but really I kind of let some wheels go in this lap and fall back a little bit too much. Right here would be an ideal position for leading into the finish, but I don't really hold right here, as you'll see. Right here, I should be moving up on that outside line, just taking advantage of it, but I don't, and then I'm closed off. All right, last lap. And you can see I'm right in the middle of the pack, kind of letting myself get pushed around and not really asserting myself as much as I should. And this is where I should have already been in a good position instead of trying to start moving up at this point. Right here, I really should have shot that right side and closed up on the pack, but as soon as I start to think so, we hit that corner, I get pushed out, and it is not his fault, it's my fault for positioning, but getting right behind this kid in the blue and yellow really affects my braking line. I've got to hit the brakes quite a few times in that corner just to not slam into his rear wheel. And it's just an effort to close back into the front of the pack. End up coming around the corner, getting into the field some, and then just boxing myself in again. End up sprinting for about 15th place, I believe. And that's the end of the race. I actually raced the P123 race about 5 minutes after this, and raced and placed a lot better. Ended up with a 9th in the pro race. Unfortunately, my GoPro died about 3 laps from the end of that race. I need to pick up a second battery for that so I can just swap it in that quick change between the 2 races so that I can get both up for you. Not my greatest race, not my best positioning, but that's fine. We'll use this to learn for the future. Super stoked on this course and glad to be able to get out here. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.